There's this thing called my physical TBR, and boy, do I have a long list of books on my physical TBR that I've accumulated this year. I have to show you what I'm filming on today. I'm filming on this cat climbing tree because I left my tripod in my boyfriend's car. But we're gonna work with this. I don't know how to get this straight. Is it straight? So, I actually didn't buy that many books in stores, but in Croatia we have this book fair that takes place every year in November. It's called Interliber, and well, what to say, I went there, wanted to just look at stuff, look at books, see what they've got, and of course I came home with like 10 books. Don't judge me, I know you're also like this. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading all of these books. I hoped that I will get through some of them this year, but life happens, so I'm sure that I will not read all of my physical TBR this year, but I'm not mad about that actually, because I don't think that it's important how many books you read. If you read one book 1 month and 10 books the other month, it's purely for your pleasure and you should enjoy it, and you should not force yourself to read more and more, because you will not experience those books the way I think you should, and you should enjoy them. So we're gonna start now. I'm not talking about books in any particular order. I will just grab them as they come. This is the first one, Pauline Hoover, It Begins With Us. I talked about this book a little bit in my previous video, and I think we all know about this book, we all heard something about this book, and I think I'm gonna read it very soon. I'm very much looking forward to see what happens with Lily and Atlas's story. Next book I have here is Fourth Wing. I am so looking forward to reading this. I've heard so much good about this book. I'm currently reading 4 books, which I really want to finish, and I had to contain myself really hard not to start reading this book. But yeah, I like dragons and there are dragons in this book, so I'm really looking forward to reading it. Next I have here 2 books that are written by V.E. Schwab. The first one is called The Dark Vault and the other one is called Invisible Life of Eddie LaRue. The first book is a supernatural thriller. It has ghosts and librarians and a lot of books, and I don't have to say much more about that. I think it will be a great book, maybe even a 5-star. The other one, Invisible Life of Eddie LaRue, is about a woman that lives on and on through centuries, and she made a deal with the devil. Also, Neil Gaiman said that this book and Eddie LaRue, the character in it, is unforgettable. Next we have here Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo, the second book in Alex Stern's series. I've read the first book, Ninth House, this year, and it was, I don't know if I have words to describe it, fascinating, a bit scary, and I can't say that I've read a book like that before, so I'm definitely interested to see what will happen in this one. I think I will partially listen to it on Audible, but I will see how it goes. Maybe I'll read it even physically, the whole book. This book I picked up in a store for €2. It's The Unforgettable Summer, Mary Jane. It's about 70s. 14-year-old Mary Jane listens to stories about life in 70s, and I think I will leave this book maybe for the next spring or summer. It has a summery feel and it literally has the word summer in the title. So yeah, I think I'll read it in the summer. Next 2 books I picked up on the book fair. I hoped that I will manage to read them in fall. I love books with witches. This one is called The Witch's Daughter and this one is called Payback's a Witch. I never heard anything about this book, but it sounded very interesting to me. It's about 17th century, but also the present day England. So it has two timelines, which I think is very interesting. I think the main character of this book is immortal, and in present day England, she finds this girl called Tegan and begins to teach her the ways of the hedge witch. This is a fun little rom-com that I heard a lot of good things about. It has bad breakups and spellcasting tournament. I can't wait to read this book. I have this book written by Tessa Bailey. It happened one summer. I also think I will leave this book for the summer because it's a summerish read, and I'm a mood reader and I like to read books that are connected to some part of the year, in that part of the year, if it makes sense. I never read anything by Tessa Bailey and I'm looking forward to see how I will like this book. If I will like it, I think I will like it. I would say that this book sounds like a light-hearted book, but also I thought that about Colin Hoover and it was really not light-hearted, so I will not make any assumptions now. This year I read a book by Agatha Christie for the first time. I'm not big on thrillers. I never read really those kind of mysteries and criminal novels, but I really liked it, so I decided to buy the first book about Poirot, and it's about the mystery inside of British aristocratic family that keeps a lot of secrets. Next I have here 3 Harry Potter books. I'm currently reading the 4th one, so I'm left with 5th, 6th and the 7th. I never thought that I would like this series so much. I thought I know all about Harry Potter, I watched all of the movies, but never actually got a grip on what's happening. I mean, I knew what's happening in the movies, but I never seemed to remember the plot lines so good. And with reading these books, I understand so much more by the hype. And really looking forward to read these ones. Maybe even I will make it into a video finishing Harry Potter series, we'll see. This next book I was trying to find for the past few years and never got to put my hands on it. And when I saw it this year on a book fair, I was like, I have to get this. I don't care how much it costs. I have to get this book now. This is the book. It's by Croatian writer Zdenko Bašić. It's called Mjesečeve sjene, which means moon shadows. These are actually Croatian folklore stories that have been passed through generations, and I really like those kinds of books. I really like to hear about what people have believed before, what they thought was real, what kind of beings they thought existed in this world. And this is such a beautiful book. I have also the other one that I've already read. So look at this, just look at how beautiful these books are. I've read this one, just look at it. Like, it's so beautiful. The art also. So very grateful to have this book finally. This has been a year in which I've started to read books from authors that I've always wanted to read. The books that I've heard a lot about and the authors I've heard a lot about, but I never managed to get my hands on them, or it never really crossed my mind that I should read those books. Do you ever get that feeling about a known book that you already know the plot but you didn't read it? Because that's how I felt about some of these books and authors, and I decided to finally read them. I've read some of them this year and some of them I didn't manage to yet. One of those books is Dracula. I've always wanted to read this book. I love books with vampires in them, but I wanted to find a really nice edition to have, so I found this one this year and I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Also read a book by Terry Pratchett this year, and actually I really liked it, so I decided to read some more books of him. These ones I ordered earlier this year for my birthday. It was a gift from myself to myself. I think the editions are beautiful, and I'm really sad that I can't order from the book depository anymore, and I don't know where I can find these editions. Funny story is that many years ago I found this quote. It was my favorite quote for a long time, still is to this day, and I never knew where it is from, and actually I found out that it's from this book, and it's the quote that says that the cats are the most wonderful thing in the world. Talking about books that I've heard a lot about but never read them, Little Women. Just walked in a store one day and thought I should read this, and these Croatian editions are very beautiful, I think. The next two books are a part of a series, and they also have a funny story about them. So actually this year I bought this book from Mena van Prague, Night of Demons and Saints, and I didn't realize it's the second book in the series. Then I ordered this book, which is the first book in the series, The Sisters Grimm, and then I realized that there is a third book. Well, there's not yet third book. Not to bash authors on this, you take all of the time of the world you need to write a book. It's just my personal preference that I don't really like reading books that are in a series that is not finished, because then I think I remember the plot and the year passes, and when I read the next book in the series I realize that I don't really remember all the details, and the hype can be a little bit gone by then. I mentioned how I like when folk stories and mythology are involved in books, and this is a book that I'm very excited about that has that pattern in it. It's The Sisters of the Winterwood by Rena Rosner. It's about a small forest on the border of Moldova and Ukraine, which is really interesting to me because I'm studying Romanian and Ukrainian language. It's about family secrets and magical heritage. Another book with a witch, it's called The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill. And it's about a village in which people every year leave a child at the end of the woods as a sacrifice to a witch. But what they don't know is that the witch is very kind, and she actually nourishes the babies with starlight on the journey and delivers them to other welcoming families. Since that video thingy where I didn't record the other half of the video appeared yesterday, we have two new books that I can present in this video. So I have here the second book in Sarah J. Maas's Throne of Glass series and the Assassin's Blade, which I think I will read first and then I will continue the series. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed, and please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Bye!